Now earlier in this section, I introduced the concept of classes and IDs, which give us the ability to associate different tags with a name, but it probably wasn't clear why these were useful. Well, classes and IDs are used by CSS to determine which HTML elements to apply certain styles to, so we give ourselves more control over the styling of a page. But when we're scraping, we can also use them to specify the elements we want to scrape. And let me tell you this, it makes things very, very easy. Now to illustrate this, we'll once again scrape the same summary text as the previous example for continuity. So we can first of all create our GET request and then create an instance of the BeautifulSoup object. So hopefully no problems here. Now how many lines of code do you think it will take to bring back the paragraph accordingly? Now maybe you'll be surprised to hear that we really only need 2 lines of code. So we'll use the find_all method to search for items by either class or by ID, but for our specific example, because we know this summary text sits within the div container with the ID top news, we can now access the find_all method, so we'll put soup.find_all, and in parentheses we can simply search for where ID equals top news. Now when I run this code cell, we bring back a BeautifulSoup object known as result set. And somewhere in the middle of this result set is that paragraph that we're after. And the way that we can obtain this paragraph is to simply split this HTML result set by a new line. So if I were to convert this result set firstly into a string, so if I first of all allocate this result set to a variable called a, and then convert a into a string using the built-in string function, then place a dot, if I put split and then pass in \n to denote a new line, you can see that when I run this code cell, our result set is split into a list where each tag and the respective text from this div container that's labeled with an ID top news is split into different elements. And seeing as this isn't a very big result set, if I count through the elements, I can see that this is element 1, we then have the class icon as element 2, element 3 is the body, 4 is the h1 tag, 5 is the p tag, and the text of the p tag is element 6, so it sits at index 5. So just after our split method, we can pass in square brackets and then access index 5. This brings back the text accordingly, but you can see we have some space at the start, and if we just want to get the text in a nicely presented string, we can simply call upon the strip method on this string object, which will remove that white space accordingly. So you can now see that we started by accessing the top news ID, which brought back a result set. We've then split it by new lines to get our respective elements. We've accessed the 6th element, which is where that summary text was sitting, and then we simply called upon the .strip method to tidy up the paragraph. So not only can we use tags to identify specific components of a web page, we can also find specific components based on class name or ID name. In this example, we've used ID name, but if you wanted to access a specific class, simply put class _ equals and then put in your class name. In the next video, we're going to start looking at how we can extract forecast information from the National Weather Service website, which we'll then aim to put into a pandas data frame ready for analytics. So I'll see you in the next video.